Hello everyone, this is Linda with Icky Chic Designs. Today I'm going to show you how I embellish a pre-made snippet roll base. Now I make these pre-made snippet roll bases in different color shades, and they have a lot of interest in them already. But it's a lot of fun to take one of these and then use it as a slow stitch project. Now this is machine stitched and to a solid piece of muslin on the back. But embellishing them, slow stitching them, is not only fun, but it really creates a very unique piece of embellishment that you can use then on something else. You can cut sections of it up and include it in your slow stitch projects, or you can trim something with this. Now, these are going to be 18 inches long when I put them in my shop. And you will be able to use whatever you have to do your slow stitching with. Now, I have a bucket of threads, just threads, and I have a pile of scraps, as you can see, just all kinds of scraps. And I have a basic 3 colors of embroidery floss. I have a few yarns that I might put in there. And so whatever you have laying around, and if you like doing this type of thing, I would suggest that you get a bucket, a box, or whatever. And when you have little pieces of interest or something you think would be easy to work with on this type of project, we'll put it in there. Then you have a bunch of stuff to play with when you get ready to do this. Like I said, the starting with a pre-made snippet roll that's in a color tone is really nice. Also, I make these in completely scrappy, so they're every color in the world. So whatever suits your mood at the time, you can play with it. So our goal is to make little bits of interest all the way down this snippet roll, something that we think that we would like. So we're just going to start here, and we're going to start just auditioning and laying out little snippets of interest, something that we might play with here. Depending on what's on the pre-made base, you want to take advantage of any interest or focal points that are already built in for you. Sometimes you can cover up. For instance, these numbers here, well, it gets down to these right here. They're just blank. They're not very interesting. So I'm going to cover them up with a piece of lace right there. And I'm just going to keep auditioning little pieces until I get something that I think I would like. This is a very individual taste thing. You just do what it is that you like. Okay, I think I'll try a little bit of yarn here. Just a little bit of fuzzy decorative yarn. That looks good there. And let's see, could I get, yeah, I have this little piece. It's kind of curling up on me. Kind of straighten it out a little bit. Add it right there. Okay, now that's a beginning to me. So what I'm going to try to do so I don't lose my design is I'm going to just pin these in right there. Let them hold there until I get to that section. So I could start working with this one right here. And I think I'm going to start with some green on that. You will maybe want to load up 2 or 3 needles as you go along, because you're going to be using, several different colors of embroidery floss as you go along. Now, if you've been embroidering, you know that this comes in 6 strands to the floss. So I usually work with 2 strands at a time. And so you have to separate those and then thread that on your needle. Now, I don't use a lot of fancy stitches. It's not about that for me. It's about getting the fabric textile interest in here, but doing it with a slow stitch, and which definitely adds the stitching textile look. Okay, I'm not going to do the piece underneath at this point. I'm just going to rough stitch. This little piece of gauzy fabric that has some silvery glitz in it. I love a little bit of glitz along in whatever project I'm doing because it really catches the eye. And I don't want to overdo it. I don't want it to be a neon sign, but just a little bit here and there, something that shines. Sometimes charms that dangle, whatever. But a lot of times you don't want these to be too thick if you're going to use them on your slow stitch or your junk journal pages or something, art journals, needle books, whatever you're going to use them to embellish. You don't want it to be too thick. So I try to stay away from too many jewelry pieces, but a lot of the charms are flatter and smaller, and I do like those. They're pretty and they're interesting. I love yarns, and I love gauzy fabrics because of the fraying, the stretching, the distortion you can do to them. Makes them very interesting. So we're just going to play along with this little piece here. Just taking some straight stitches, just medium size, medium length. Again, when I slow stitch, I don't want to overthink. I want to relax. I just want to enjoy the process. I love textiles, so it's just fun for me to work with all these little bits of stuff, and I think you will find it the same. Okay, we have that sewn in the green. Now what I think I will do is skip over just a little, and I think I will tack this down with the green since I already have it on my needle. Just open this up a little bit more where it's, there you go, where it's turned under. And again, nothing fancy, just getting it tacked down. I do like to try to use whatever's on my needle at the time to work it along what I'm working on and use that up so that I'm not constantly changing threads or needles. And that's why I don't load up a whole long length of thread. And of course, if you've ever done this before, you know how this part goes. You're always catching something in there. I'm going to tuck this under this flower a little bit and see if I can't catch it the next time. Keep it in place. This is, like I said, this is very enjoyable to me. I love this process of just embellishing an already pre-made snippet base. For one thing, a lot of people don't have a lot of fabric scraps. They don't have a sewing machine. They don't sew. But they do love to do this type of thing. And so if they can get a base, then they can do their slow stitching on that, and that makes them happy. So I'm going to start making these bases available in my Etsy shop in all kinds of color themes, so that in this 18-inch length. Now, should you have a project that requires a longer length, you can always sew the two lengths together by machine or by hand, or however many lengths you need to complete the project you need. But most of the time, 18 inches is enough for a slow stitch project or several junk journal embellishments. So that's why I'm doing the 18 inches. But like I said, you can always get more than one and sew them together if you need a longer piece. Of course, move your pins as you go along. Okay, this gold piece here, I'm going to make sure that it's tucked under also, and secure it in place. This is looking fun already. Now, another interesting thing about snippets is that you can do an entire snippet in one color tone, like I've started out here. And the color tone is good, but I am going to add a little bit more color down through as I go, and just for interest. And so you can do it however you want to, but you don't have to stick to just the color tone that's in the base piece here. You can add to that all you want. If you have motifs of any kind, if you have little buttons, embellishments, beads, whatever, you can add them to this. These make pretty little gifts when you have friends who love to stitch. Something that you've put together for them, and then they can use it as is or cut it in pieces and use it. But anyway, it's all done, and you've hand stitched it for them. If they love slow stitching and things like that, they're going to love that you did that for them. Okay, I'm going to stop there with the green. Go to the back side. Just take a couple of stitches and lock it down. Make a loop and then go through it twice from the same direction and pull it tight, and that will make you a knot on the back side. Okay, Now I think I'm going to switch to this rusty color here, and I do believe I already have some on there. That's 2 threads. Yes, I do. That makes that easy. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to be doing an entire series of these, just kind of a chat and a sew along. So if you don't want to actually do what I'm doing, well then just grab something and sit and we'll talk a little bit. Find out what's going on in my life and in my area of the world. I live in Northeast, whoops, not my thread. I live in Northeast Texas. I'm very close to Tyler, Texas, which is the rose capital of the United States. And it's beautiful here in Northeast Texas. We have a lot of rolling hills, a lot of pine trees. This area was part of what used to be the big piney woods, or piney thicket as it was called. Actually, the pine forest years ago covered parts of 5 states. That's how large the piney forest was. But now, of course, everything's been timbered out, and just bits and pieces of it are left here and there. But we're fortunate to have a lot of that, those pines still here. And being that they're evergreens, that means we have green trees all winter. Now, a lot of people are allergic to pine pollen, so that's not too good. You don't want to move here if you're allergic to pine pollen, but it's really pretty. And the rolling hills make it really nice too. A lot of people think that Texas is all like West Texas. Flat, more arid. Even the Dallas-Fort Worth area is that way. But as you get more easterly in Texas, north and south East Texas, you get a lot of hills and you get a lot of growth. And so it's just really pretty country. We have quite a few lakes around us. Good bass fishing in this part of the country. And of course, catfish. Everybody loves eating fried catfish in this part of the world. And, well, let's see. I goofed up there because I wanted to put that under, and I didn't do that. So I think what I'm going to do is just cut it and have it in there. I can always come back and put something there if I want to. But we'll just end it there. Mistakes often lead to the best creative decisions. Have you ever found that? When you have to cover up a mistake, it leads to some very creative things. I like that. I think I'm going to come back and just do a little bitty row of stitching on this cream color background. Just a running stitch here. No reason, nothing's being attached. It's just to add some stitching to the piece. Don't overthink it. Don't make it perfect. My motto is perfectly imperfect. That's how I like to create things. I have so much fun being perfectly imperfect. So, what do you think so far? This is what we're getting to so far. So I think I'll bring these on down. I'm very messy, I create in the middle of chaos. And I so envy all these YouTuber creative people that I see that they have perfect little areas, that everything is so neat and it looks so pretty. And I think, oh no, never me. But then there are a few that are like me and their desk is a total chaos. And I think, okay, you know, I'm not alone in this world. And so that's comforting, you might say. But another reason for that is that when I'm doing things like this, I have to be able to see the items that I have. And so they have to be spread out all over the place so that I can see what I've got to work with. And of course, somebody said, well, why can't you get all your little elements together and put them in a little basket and then just work out of the basket? Well, I have tried that, but then I find myself jumping up and down thinking, oh, well, I think I have something else. And so it's just easier for me to just spread it out all over my desk and go from there. Okay. All right, we have some what I call nonsense, makes no reasonable explanation at all for why these stitches are where they are, but that's just the way it is. That's it. So anyway, we're gonna leave that like that, and I think I'm going to try a different color. I'm going to tie this one off and see how that works. Now let's see, grab another needle here. Oh, it has a little bit of thread in it. Okay, what do I want to do here? I want this one to show. Let's open it up a little bit, pull it out. Oh, I don't want to cover that up. Maybe I can wrap it around. That would be good. Okay, we'll try that. Let me see if I can find another color that I want to work with here. I am going to pull in some purplish. A mauve color. Now that probably doesn't make any sense to you right now, but it will later as we progress on down this row. I think this has got to be my least favorite part about all of this, and that is separating threads. I'm forever, you know, not getting them separated the best way. You know when you get the right two together because everything works out right. The threads stay in line and they sew smoothly. But sometimes you get them crosswise, it seems, and none of that works. Okay, got those out. Let's get this needle threaded. The weather here today is beautiful. It's in the 60s and the sun is shining bright. It's just really pretty. It's a gorgeous fall day. The leaves are falling and the colors are getting brighter each day. Some of the trees are already turned and they're shedding, but some of the later ones to turn are just coming on, and some pretty color working out there. Okay. Let's get this little thing attached. Now I have a friend that slow stitches, and she loves to do all the fancy slow stitches, and there is no such thing as just a straight stitch hardly for her. And her work is just really so pretty. But I do not have the patience for that. And like I said, I'm more interested in the elements that I use more than the stitching itself. I think embroidery artists are the ones who do that beautiful stitching. I'm more of a textile artist in the sense that I just like working with the textiles and the textures and the feel, the sensory part of it, the different color combinations that I can come up with. All those things fascinate me. But now it's not to say I never use a nice embroidery stitch. I do from time to time. Probably if I use anything, I use little French knots. I use a lazy daisy stitch. I use a plain cross stitch. I use a stem stitch, different ones, things like that. Those are all basics. Every once in a while, I'll use some of the little bit fancier stitches, but not very often. So if you don't know how to do fancy embroidery and so you don't do this kind of thing because you don't, well, don't worry, because you don't have to. If you can just sew up and down like I'm doing right now, you can make your own fiber art, and you can certainly embellish and pre-made snippet roll base like I'm doing right here. I've sewn these to kitchen tea towels that I hang decoratively. I've sewn these to pillow shams for the bed. I've sewn these to pillows on the for the couch, whatever. I've sewn these to t-shirts and sweatshirts. There is no end to what you can do with one of these snippet rolls. As I said, used as is or cut into pieces. It's just endless, the things that you can come up with to do with these. And they're always one of a kind. So that makes it super interesting. This little bit of mauve color here is going to play in, well, I'm going to be using it quite a bit because I'm going to incorporate some of this mauve lacy work here somewhere. And I don't know exactly where, but that is going to be my accent color throughout this brown and gold tone piece. Is going to be this mauve color. So well, I don't have any of that down in here. I can start with this mauve thread, give a hint of it's coming, and so play with your thread colors that way too. Get out a selection that you think you want to work with, but don't be afraid to grab something different if it's not working. And always use your thread to accent your colors, you might say. I hope you're enjoying this. I know I am. I just love being able to work here with knowing somebody's out there with me and I'm not alone. Sad to say, I don't have really any family members or friends that really like to do this kind of thing. So when I'm working, I'm always working alone. And so I thought, well, Linda, why don't you make a series where you just chat and sew and enjoy yourself, knowing that you'll have a few YouTube friends that'll be there with you, and they can enjoy this same thing. I am a writer also, and I thought, well, you know, something I could do when I run out of what's new with me stuff is I could just make the video without sound and then dub over it with a reading from my stories. And I am basically happy ever after romance writer, clean stories. And so I thought, well, some of you might enjoy listening to a story. I'm a pretty decent reader, so I think you'd enjoy that. And so I'm going to do part of my series like that. And because after all, there's only so much I can tell you about me, because I'm not the most interesting person in the world. I'm just pretty everyday, down-to-earth average. And besides just loving life, loving everything about life, loving people, loving creative things, you know, it's just, I'm a very positive-minded person, and I just can't find anything about life not to be positive about. Yes, there is a lot of problems in the world. Yes, they touch me at times just like they do everyone else. But I don't linger in that. I try to always find the good in everything. And I have found that that's easier to do than you think if you just try a little bit. And you always come out with, just because it's raining doesn't make it a bad day. It makes it a very good day for a nap. That's a positive thing. And just because I don't have anybody to sew with, well, I have my YouTube people, and I know you're there. And so that makes me feel like I have somebody with me. What I didn't do today, which I'm going to make sure I do next time, is get me a cup of coffee, because I am really craving a cup of coffee right now, and I don't have one with me. So I'm going to do that. Coffee, Coke, or iced tea, something. Because I get really dry when I'm talking a lot. Okay, I got one little French knot in the middle of that one. Aren't you proud of me? I put something decorative in there. And I'm going to tie this off. Ooh, I'm losing my thread. Whew. Saved. I hate to have to rethread a needle that I totally pulled the thread out of while I'm still working with it. I'm going to just have to double that around and call that a day on that one. Okay, well, I'm going to hold it here for this video. We did get a beginning on our snippet roll, and we're going to do some interesting things. We have some interesting things here to work in, and so please follow along with me as I do these. I will number them and list them in a playlist so that you can follow along with this, and we will work our way down this 18 inches of pre-made snippet base. And I will also be putting a few of these 18-inch pieces in my Etsy shop should anyone want to purchase, but that's not required. Just enjoy the process. And until next time, you have a good day. Bye-bye.